Okay, guys, I don't know how well my camera's going to hold up out here. It's starting to get dark. But yesterday I went over the prepper community idea, and I want to kind of expand on that a little bit, because there's a right way and there's a wrong way to go about setting up your alliances and your communities. Now, the wrong way would be to go out and tell everybody what you've got, what survival food you've got stored up, what kind of bunkers you may have, how many guns, because all you're doing, hear that sound? That's what you'll be hearing later on. Because all you're doing is telling everybody what you have. You're announcing it to the world. And that's the last thing you want to do, is announce to everybody what you have. And I chose the noisiest place today to do my filming. But oh well. It's pretty out here. So that's the wrong way to go about it, is letting everybody know what you've got. The good way to go about it, the smart way, would just be to nonchalantly ask around to different people, you know, hey, how much you know about prepping? Man, what can we do? Things are getting bad. What can we do to survive? And we need to form some kind of group. But don't let those people know what you have, because if you let them know, then when things get really bad, they're going to come get what you have. And you know, they're not. Everybody says, well, good luck getting into my house. I'm going to protect my house. But see, the thing is, they're not going to show up while you're at home. They're going to wait till you're gone, and then they're going to show up and take everything that you've got. You're going to get home and find out you don't have anything left, and then you become a statistic at that point. So go about setting up your prepper alliances discreetly. Don't let people know what you've got. The number one rule as a prepper: keep your mouth shut. I see so many people getting on Facebook and talking about everything they've got, and all they're doing is just drawing attention to themselves. And if you notice, I don't do a whole lot of posting about what I've got. Now, I will do some videos on some survival food kits and some backpacks that I've got set up and things like that, but I'm not going to show everybody exactly what I've got. So when you're setting it up, be discreet, guys. Don't let people know what you've got. Now, I do want to mention, you know, Facebook is a really good place to look up for prepper groups, people that's close to your hometown. And you know, I've actually thought about the idea of setting up a dedicated prepper social media. If that's something you guys would be interested in, comment down below and let me know. I've got all the software to get that set up. I think it would be really beneficial in times like this to have your own prepper social media. But you can get on Facebook and look a lot of that stuff up. You can visit our Facebook page, Snare Trap Survive, and look on there for people that's close to you. We got people all over the United States, and so I'm sure you'll find somebody that's close to you. But again, don't let people know what you've got. Keep that under wraps until you get a really good solid group, and you know that you can trust that group. And then once you know you can trust that group or that individual, then you can go into a little bit more about what you might have available as a resource to let them know, you know, that you're at least serious about it and somewhat a benefit to them. But never, ever, ever tell them what you have until you know that. Now, another topic I want to go over is I hear a lot of people talking about bugging out, going out here where I'm at right now. I'm going to bug out into the woods, and I'm going to live out there off the land. And you know, guys, that's the people that's going to die. You can't come out here and just live off the land. And they said, well, the ancestors did it. Well, the ancestors had big groups. That group thing I've been talking about. The ancestors had big groups, so they had people hunting, they had people farming, they had medicine men helping take care of the sick and the wounded. They had women taking care of the cooking back at the camp. They had people taking care of shelter, people taking care of, if some of them had livestock, if they had livestock. So, yeah, you got to have a group. You can't come out here and just live off the land, eat squirrels and rabbit, and expect to survive. You know, you're going to have a boy of my size is going to have 3 to 5 squirrels a day to be able to survive out here. Now, per acre, you might get 3 to 5 squirrels per acre. But see, then there's a problem, and that problem is when you kill those 3 to 5 squirrels, you got to move on to the next acre of property. And even still, at that point, you're not going to be getting all the fats that you need, because squirrel just does not provide that much fat. Rabbit doesn't provide that much fat. Deer and wild hog don't provide that much fat. Now, beaver, I mentioned beaver the other day in my other video. That's a really good source because it provides a lot of fats. A raccoon has some fat in there. The guys, the food off the land, the wild animals, is going to be a supplement. It's not going to be what you're going to survive off of. Your fish and your wild game is going to be supplement and protein source. You're still going to need those fats, and you're not going to get enough if you're just out here eating squirrel and rabbit. So, and I brought my backpack with me. I've got some tools in here, but I don't think I'm going to have time to show you those today. I can do those in another video. But it's snares and traps that you'll want to use in order to make sure you can supplement your food source. But again, that group thing, work on trying to find some people and don't set up to go bug out. If you do have a place to bug out to, make sure it's going to be a group movement and it's going to be a last resort. Bugging out is going to be the last resort when things get really, really, really bad and you know that you can't stay at home and defend your home. Otherwise, when you bug out, you're putting yourself at a great disadvantage. So bug in, as they say. And I did an entire article about bug in or bug out. You can find that on Snare Trap Survive in the articles section. But bugging out is not the way to go. Now, if you have a group and that group has to move, then by all means have your place set up that you can go to as a group, function. Some people hunt, some people fish, some people work on shelters, others work on cooking. Divide the chores up and you have a better chance at making it at that point. So let's say if you do bug out, what's some of the things that you're going to need to be looking for in this location that you've chosen? You're going to want water. If you don't have water, you're going to die. You want to make sure there's some sort of game close by. Fish. So if you choose a place with water, a good river, then you probably got fish. You're going to want to make sure it is defensible. because it's not going to do you any good if it's not defensible and people can get in there and overtake your group. So you're going to make sure you got water. Preferably a place that's going to be out of the elements. And what I mean by out of the elements, I mean is down, if you can see behind me, this little draw down here behind me, a place that's down out of the wind, because that's going to help on a couple of things. That's going to keep you warmer in the winter. It's going to keep your fires from being spotted as easily. And usually in a valley, your smoke's going to travel up the valley away from you. And the only drawback with being down in a valley, in my opinion, is it's a little harder to defend. So I would say if it was a big group of people and you were down in a low-lying area like this, I'd want to set up some observation posts up on the hillsides to be able to watch over my encampment and see people coming off at a distance. Like I said, guys, if bugging out, that's a last resort thing. You want to work on defending your home, setting up your defenses around your home, your garden. You know your property a lot better than you know the wild out here. So it makes more sense to me to have a good piece of property somewhere that you can put a good garden on and have a multitude of people around to help defend it and help tend to the garden, and everybody benefits from that. Out here in the woods, can't do much of a garden out here. And again, you're not gonna make it off of squirrels and rabbits. So if you're one of those preppers out there that's talking about going out and living off squirrels, well, let us know where you want to be buried at, and we'll go ahead and get a grave dug for you, because that's where you'll end up at eventually. Now, somebody asked me just the other day, how long do you think it's going to be before all hell breaks loose? Well, honestly, I don't think all hell's going to break loose for quite a long time, because we've just not gotten that far yet. We're at a point now where it's getting hard. There are some people ending up homeless. There's a lot of people going hungry, but we're not at that breakdown point. Now, I talked the other day about the stages that people will go through. It's apathy, realization, fear, panic, chaos. I don't care how good you are, you'll go through those stages if you're not prepared. Right now, I think we're in the realization stage. We're at the point where people are realizing just how bad it's getting and just how bad it's going to get. So I would say it's going to take another 3 to 6 months before everybody to really start to get into the fear stage. And what's going to trigger that fear stage is going to be the continuing rise in prices. And then at some point, people are going to stop and realize, oh hell, this is worse than I ever thought it was going to be. And now what am I going to do? I haven't got anything. I haven't been preparing. Well, that's why I'm doing this video. I'm trying to tell you, start preparing now. And I understand if you don't have the money to buy survival foods, guys, there's things out there at the store that you can stock up on. You know, and I know I went over this in the last video, but I can't stress that enough. Bags of beans, rice, potatoes. Get a dehydrator, start dehydrating foods. Stock up on flour, sugar, salt, powdered milk. Stock up on all the things that you can think of. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do another video, and I'm going to have a bunch of items in that video that you can get from the store. And I know a lot of you old school preppers already know about all these things, but this whole point of these videos is for people that don't have a plan, people that don't understand what to do. This is going to be for them. So I'm going to do that video. I'll put that up here on YouTube in a few days to a week or so. But it doesn't take tons of money to get prepared. Education. Go out and educate yourself on growing a garden. That's going to be the most important thing that you can do, is to educate yourself about growing food. And you'd be amazed at how many people do not have any idea how to raise a garden. And don't go growing herbs and spices and things like that. Cantaloupes and watermelons. I mean, those are good to have, but focus on things like beans, squash, corn, potatoes. I have you some tomatoes. I've seen people with hundreds and hundreds of plants of tomatoes. Focus on okra, things that you're going to eat that's going to be nutritious. Don't focus on spices. I'm sorry, but that's not going to do you any good. The city prepper that's growing spices and stuff in their window sills, those guys are going to die off. So educate yourself about growing a garden, and then start educating yourself about supplementing your food source using survival, snaring, and trapping gear. That's it, guys, on this one. I'm going to wrap it up. I know it was a little bit of a recap on what I did the other day, but I can't stress all this enough. And I have so many people asking me, what do I need to do? How do I get ready for this? And they have no idea. And so that's the whole point of my videos here, is to give them a direction to start in. And that direction to start in is gathering people, family members, friends, community, people you know you can trust. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell them what you have. Start gathering up a group, and then once you can trust that group, then you can let them know what you have or what you're able to do. Your next step, educate, educate, educate yourself. Learn to grow gardens. Learn to trap. Learn to identify edible plants. Learn to identify edible mushrooms. Learn to fish. Be amazed how many people don't know how to fish. And then once you start to get a grasp on the things you need to get, then start thinking, how am I going to make my home defensible? How am I going to protect everything? Where am I going to hide it? Make sure you store everything in a place where it's going to be, away from moisture. It's going to be nice and dry, and it's going to be safe. And then once you have your defenses set up, then you and your group can talk about what happens if it gets bad here. Where do we go? So that's the steps you want to take, guys. I'm going to wrap it up now, and I'll see you guys on the next video.